Now let's start with anaerobic respiration. Just now we have studied what aerobic respiration means, the respiration which occurs, cellular respiration which occurs in the presence of oxygen. Okay, anaerobic respiration means it is a type of cellular respiration in which respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen or in the limited supply of oxygen. Okay, so what we can say, it is an incomplete oxidation of glucose. Okay, in aerobic respiration, what we have seen, complete oxidation of glucose in the presence of oxygen. Here what we can say, that it is an incomplete oxidation of glucose. Okay, it occurs in less amount of oxygen, or we can say in the absence of oxygen. Okay, now see, the main important point to be noted in this type of respiration is that it is happening in places where mitochondria is not present. Means the place or the organ cells in which mitochondria is not present, there it is occurring. Okay, for example, in human beings, red blood cells, it do not have mitochondria. Muscle cells, it do not have mitochondria. So there this anaerobic respiration occurs. Got it? Now this anaerobic respiration is very fast process. Okay, it is a fast process. That means under certain condition, the lack of oxygen allow our cells to undergo the process of aerobic respiration. Means, for example, oxygen is present. Okay, at that time proper cycle is going on for glycolysis, then Krebs cycle, then electron transport chain. But after the process of glycolysis, when pyruvate forms, if oxygen is not supplied or there is a limited supply of oxygen, at that time this pyruvate follows another pathway. Okay, and at that time what happens, lots and lots of energy is not producing. Like in aerobic respiration 38 molecules of ATP is produced, but in anaerobic respiration only 2 molecules of ATP is produced. What I said, it is a fast process. Means whenever anaerobic respiration starts, it occurs very fastly. Okay, it occurs very quickly. It produces ATP in a greater speed. Okay, in anaerobic respiration, whenever it follows anaerobic respiration, that means in the absence of oxygen, the process occurs very fast. Okay, very fast means it doesn't mean that ATP बहुत ज़्यादा produce होगा. No, it's not like that. It occurs, the process of anaerobic respiration occurs fast. It occurs quickly. That means it produces ATP in a greater speed as compared to the aerobic respiration. But it doesn't mean that it produces large amount of ATP. No, it is not producing large amount of ATP. It is producing ATP in greater speed, but it produces only 2 molecules of ATP. Okay, so what we can say, it produces only 2 molecules of ATP but in a greater speed. Whereas in aerobic respiration what happens, it produces 38 molecules of ATP, and the speed of aerobic respiration is little slow as compared to the anaerobic respiration. Got it? So till now what we have studied, anaerobic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen, or we can say in the limited supply of oxygen. Okay, the point to be noted in this, that anaerobic respiration occurs in the cells which is not having mitochondria in it. Okay, for example, red blood cells, muscle cells and all. Now whenever this process occurs, whenever anaerobic respiration occurs, this process produces ATP in a greater speed. Okay, in a greater speed, but it produces less amount of ATP as compared to aerobic respiration. That means anaerobic respiration produces only 2 molecules of ATP, whereas aerobic respiration produces 38 molecules of ATP. Okay, anaerobic respiration, it occurs in greater speed, but less amount of ATP it produces, less amount of energy it produces. Got it? Now this process of anaerobic respiration occurs in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes. Clear? So by this we can able to understand that what is anaerobic respiration. Okay, now this anaerobic respiration which occurs in prokaryotes as well as in eukaryotes, this anaerobic respiration is known as fermentation. Got it? It is known as fermentation. Now what happens during this process, there is a incomplete oxidation of glucose. Okay, and during this incomplete oxidation of glucose, it produces acids, gas and alcohol. Clear? So because of this incomplete oxidation of glucose, there is a formation of acid, gas and alcohol. Okay, and on the basis of its production, whether it is producing alcohol or it is producing what, acid, it is named. Okay, for example, yeast is a microorganism, right? It's a microorganism. So whenever pyruvic acid is formed by glucose, at that time what happens, because of the oxidation of glucose, it is producing pyruvate, which is produced, it is producing ethanol and carbon dioxide. Means carbon dioxide will form, but along with carbon dioxide it produces ethanol, that is alcohol. That's why this type of anaerobic condition or anaerobic respiration is known as alcoholic or ethanol fermentation. Got it? So what I said, let's take an example of yeast, which is a microorganism. On oxidation, on partial oxidation of glucose, what happens? Glucose gets converted into pyruvate. Now this pyruvate gets converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide when there is a limited supply of oxygen. Okay, and when there is an anaerobic respiration or limited supply of oxygen, at that time ethanol and carbon dioxide is formed. At that time, that type of anaerobic condition or fermentation is known as alcoholic or ethanol fermentation. Okay, now there is another type of fermentation that occurs in certain bacteria and even in animal muscle cells. Okay, in that what happens, under anaerobic condition, pyruvic acid, which is produced by glucose, it produces lactic acid. Okay, and whenever there is a production of lactic acid by incomplete oxidation of glucose or partial oxidation of glucose, it is known as lactic acid fermentation. Got it? Clear? So in that way we can understand that there are two types of fermentation. Okay, alcoholic or ethanol fermentation, and second one is lactic acid fermentation. Okay, what is lactic acid fermentation? In lactic acid fermentation, what happens? It occurs in humans. Yeah, it occurs in human beings. Okay, it occurs in human beings. It occurs in certain bacteria. What happen in that? The pyruvate, which is formed through the glycolysis process or during glycolysis process, are converted into lactic acid, and this process of production of lactic acid from glucose is called lactic acid fermentation. Okay, and what happens in alcoholic fermentation or ethanolic fermentation? The pyruvate molecules which is generated during glycolysis are converted into ethanol or alcohol, and this type of fermentation is known as alcoholic or ethanolic fermentation. Got it? Now, you must have noticed that again and again I am using the term fermentation. So definitely a question arises, what does it mean? What does fermentation means? So what is fermentation? Fermentation is an anaerobic process in which energy can be released from glucose even if oxygen is not available. Got it? What is fermentation? Fermentation is an anaerobic process, okay, in which what happens, energy is produced through what? Energy is produced from glucose even if oxygen is not available. Got it? Again repeating, if oxygen is not available, then also if glucose is having the capability of producing energy, that is known as fermentation. Clear? Now, whereas now see, till now we have studied what is anaerobic respiration, where does it occur, okay, two types of fermentation, that is alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation, and what is fermentation, right? Clear? Now you just look at this slide, you will be able to understand that. See, glucose which we are getting through nutrients, other nutrients, and which we are taking through carbohydrate, that undergoes glycolysis process in cytoplasm and produces pyruvic acid, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid, right? Now if oxygen is available, definitely it will goes to, it gets this pyruvic acid gets converted into acetyl CoA, and then acetyl CoA enters into Krebs cycle, and then it continues with electron transport chain. But if there is limited supply of oxygen or there is no available oxygen, at that time what happens, this pyruvic acid in some bacteria, and in mammals muscles, means human muscles, what happens, it produces lactic acid. Okay, and it is known as lactic acid fermentation. Whereas in yeast, this pyruvic acid gets converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, and it is known as alcohol fermentation or ethanolic fermentation. Got it? So this is what? Anaerobic respiration and fermentation. Now just have a look on this slide. There I have given a summary of aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration in living beings. See, in the center you see glucose glycolysis pyruvate, means glucose undergoes glycolysis process and it produces pyruvate. Okay, now what happens that if there is an available oxygen, okay, that means in aerobic respiration what happens, it goes through Krebs cycle and electron transport chain when oxygen is present there, when there is a presence of oxygen. Okay, and in the absence of oxygen what happens, it follows anaerobic respiration and it undergoes what, it undergoes fermentation. Got it? Fermentation means, yeah, the oxygen is used up for the production of energy even in the absence of oxygen. That is fermentation. Okay, and this fermentation in the presence of yeast, it produces alcohol and carbon dioxide. That is called alcoholic fermentation. And in mammals, means in muscle cells and what? Yeah, in certain bacteria it produces lactic acid and it is known as lactic acid fermentation. Got it? So it is a summary in which in this slide you can able to understand what is the what is happening during aerobic respiration as well as in anaerobic respiration. Clear? Now see, it's not like that only carbohydrate is giving us energy. Okay, yeah, it is very, we all know that it is known that carbohydrate is the source of energy, that is glucose is the source of energy. But what happens when there is not glucose is not available there? For example, during the starvation condition, starvation means fasting condition, whatever food we are having, that is converted into glucose, and if it is required, it is used up, okay, for various activities. But if it is not is used up, means whatever food we are taking, सारे के सारे use हो रहे हैं क्या? Whether all foods are used up to produce energy? No. Okay, all foods are not used up to produce energy. What happened with that food? First it is getting converted into glucose. Whatever energy, how much energy is required, it is used up for various activities. Okay, and except that whatever rest of the glucose is available, that is stored in liver and muscle in the form of glycogen. Got it? That means glycogen is the storage form of glucose. Glycogen is the storage form of carbohydrate. Clear? So what I want to say, whenever glucose is not required by our body, for example during sleeping, okay, we are sleeping, at that time we are not performing any activity. So what happened with whatever food we have taken? What happened with that? At that time we are not doing any activity now. So what happened at that time? That glucose, whatever of food, whatever we have taken, that is producing ultimately glucose, right? That glucose is stored in our liver and muscle in the form of what? In the form of glycogen. Got it? So glycogen is the storage form of glucose. Now this is normally during our normal lifestyle. Okay, now if there is a fasting condition or during a starvation condition, what happens? We are not having any food. At that time what happens? Yeah, at that time proteins means, you know, proteins are what? They are made up of, yeah, they are made up of amino acids, right? And lipids also, you know, yeah, they are made up of fatty acid and glycerol. So during starvation condition, when we are not having any food, at that time proteins and lipids are used to produce energy. Got it? What happens? Proteins, whatever we have taken earlier, that is stored in our body. Okay, so that protein undergoes breakdown and it produces amino acid. Similarly, lipids that is stored in our body, it starts burning and it produces fatty acid and glucose. Okay, and in that way this amino acid and glycerol produces energy. Got it? During which condition? During fasting, or we can say during starvation condition. Clear? Now these are the condition when we are having normal lifestyle. what happens at that time? Glucose gets stored in the form of glycogen when glucose is not required, when energy is not required. Okay, and during starvation condition, when there is a fasting, at that time protein and lipids are used up to produce energy. Protein in the form of amino acid and lipids in the form of fatty acid and glycerol. Got it? Now, normal lifestyle, in normal lifestyle also, sometimes we are having protein, sometimes we are having lipids, right? So what happens? Definitely that whatever protein we are taking, that is getting digested. Okay, getting digested to what? Getting digested to amino acid. Okay, so whatever amino acid produced there, it is eliminated through our body as urea. Okay, means we are ureotelic. Ureotelic means we are passing our urine in the form of urea. So we are ureotelic. So they are, what we are doing, excess of amino acid we are eliminated through in our body in the form of urea. Okay, and if at that time energy is required or glucose is required, for that process jitna zaruri hai that is removed in the form of urea, and rest of the amino acid is stored in the form of glucose, and that is known as gluconeogenesis. Means amino acid or protein gets converted into glucose, and it is gets converted into glucose. Okay, and that process of conversion of protein to glucose is called gluconeogenesis. Gluco matlab glucose, gluco means glucose, and genesis means synthesis. Synthesis of glucose is known as glucogenesis. Glucogenesis or gluconeogenesis. Got it? So what I want to say, see, during normal lifestyle also, daily we are having, not only we are having carbohydrate, we are taking fats, we are taking proteins, right? So what happened with that? It is breaking down into amino acid. What happens with protein? I am saying, okay, protein is breaking down into amino acid. Now some of the amino acid is excreted through our body. The excess of that, excess of amino acid is eliminated through our body. पूरा का पूरा तो यूटिलाइज नहीं होगा ना. Excess of that is eliminated through our body in the form of urea. Okay, and rest of the amino acid is stored in our body, which we are using during what? During starvation condition. Okay, so that protein is stored, excess protein is stored in our body. Rest of the amino acid is stored in our body in the form of glucose. Okay, through which process? Through the process of gluconeogenesis. Clear? Now, if you will see this, in this slide you will be able to understand whatever carbohydrate is there. See, this carbohydrate when we are taking, that gets converted into glucose. Okay, carbohydrate gets converted into glucose. It is producing pyruvate, correct? And then acetyl-CoA, Krebs cycle, and then electron transport chain, and through that it is producing energy, right? But what happens with protein? See, in the left hand side, protein is producing amino acid. That amino acid produces pyruvate, means ultimately it produces glucose, and in that way it is then through acetyl-CoA Krebs cycle it is producing energy. Clear? And what happens with fats? See, fats are breaking down into fatty acid and glycerol. They are again producing what? Acetyl-CoA. Because see, just now I have said amino acid ho ya fatty acid ho, ultimately they will get converted into glucose, and then glucose is following the same pathway. Got it? Means carbohydrate pathway is what? Carbohydrate or glucose gets converted into pyruvate, and then that pyruvate converted into acetyl-CoA. That acetyl-CoA enters in Krebs cycle, and through electron transport chain it is producing ATP, right? What happens with protein? Protein gets converted into amino acid. Okay, that amino acid again converted into glucose. There are various pathways, okay, by which it is producing. So that conversion of amino acid or protein to glucose is called gluconeogenesis. Then that glucose which is formed, it is again following the same pathway. Got it? It is again following the same pathway. First glycolysis hoga, then it is converting into acetyl-CoA, then Krebs cycle, and then electron transport chain. Same is happening with fats. Fats are broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, that is also again converted into glucose. Okay, and then glucose is again following the same pathway. First glycolysis occurs, it converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate is converting into acetyl-CoA. Acetyl-CoA enters into Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle continues with electron transport chain, and thus it is producing ATP, means energy in the form of ATP. Got it? Means ultimately the pathway will be same. बट प्रोटीन का क्या है? फर्स्ट वो अमीनो एसिड में ब्रेक होगा, फिर अमीनो एसिड चेंज होगा ग्लूकोज में, फैट का क्या है, फैट विल ब्रेक डाउन इनटू फैटी एसिड एंड ग्लिसरॉल, देन दैट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लूकोज एंड देन ग्लूकोज विल follow the same pathway. Got it? And the conversion of protein to carbohydrate or glucose is known as gluconeogenesis. Got it? So if we will see how much amount of energy is produced by protein and lipid, we will come to know that 4 kilocalorie of energy is produced by per gram of protein. Okay, 4 kilocalorie of energy is produced per gram of protein and 9 kilocalorie of energy is produced per gram of lipids. Clear? Okay. Now when in first video also, first video of this chapter, I have explained you what are the nutrients that we are taking. In that we have mentioned I have mentioned carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins, water, fibers, right now. So now fat and proteins we have done, carbohydrate also we have done. Now let's come to vitamins. Vitamins are what? We all know vitamins are the heterogeneous compound, right? There are two types of vitamin, water soluble vitamin and fat soluble vitamin. Okay, water soluble vitamins means, yeah, vitamin B and C, and fat soluble vitamin A, D, E and K. Correct? Now see, in this cycles, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport chain, we have studied two electron carriers. What are they? NADH2, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and FADH2, that is flavin adenine dinucleotide, right? That we have studied. So from where it is producing? These NADH2 and FADH2 is produced through the process of Krebs cycle and glycolysis. But by which it is produced? By using fat soluble vitamins. Means, yeah, these vitamins are required for the synthesis of NADH2 and FADH2. Got it? Now, let's come to water. We all know about 65 to 70% of water present in our body, and about 90% of water is present in blood plasma. And rather than that, water also helps in various processes. Means whatever activities, metabolic activities occurs in our body, that flowing thoroughly because of presence of water, and water also helps in digestion and all. Okay. Rather than that, fibers also we know, that is known as roughage. Okay, we will see the see fibers mostly prevents from constipation, and it helps in digestion and egestion of undigested food. Okay, so this is all about whatever nutrients we are taking and how it is helpful to us. Now just look at this slide. Here you will understood what are the importance of lipids and protein that we are having in our food. Okay, what lipids are doing? They are energy storing. Okay, they are storing the energy, means its main function is to store energy. Okay, it helps in the formation of cellular membranes. It also produces hormones. It helps in digestion, and it provides insulation and protection. Okay, now if we want to see importance of proteins, it helps in building tissues and muscles. That's why we are also known, we know protein as body building food, right? It also helps in repairing of body tissue. Rather than that, it helps in the production of hormones, enzymes. Okay, and it produces lots and lots of energy. Along with that, it provides us immunity. Got it? So if we just see, there are various importance of lipids, proteins, vitamins, waters and fibers also. In that way, we will come to know that whatever nutrients we are taking, that nutrient is only providing us energy. And why this energy is required? This energy is required for the various life processes that is occurring inside our body, right? I hope you have understood. By this, we have completed with this cellular respiration process. Okay, and various nutrients that we are using for our daily or life process activities, right? So I hope you have understood. Thank you.